All right, everybody, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, I know some of you have been asking for this. I know I've been wanting to hear/see it, but I haven't seen anybody do it. And there might be a video out there, but I haven't ran across it. It hasn't popped up in my feed. So we're going to be doing the Aphex EQF-2 versus the PMEQ with Master of Puppets riff. I think I chose Lepper Messiah. Yeah, that's what's in the looper right now. So basically, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because the PMEQ is a pedal and the EQF2 is not a pedal. So I'm going to be punching the EQF2 button up here on the top because it's set up on the top of my cabinet here, and I'm going to be kicking the PMEQ with my foot, and I'll do my best to keep you guys apprised of which is which, although there's going to be audio playing, so we're not going to be able to talk, so much, or I'm not going to be able to talk to you, but I'll kind of show you what I'm working with here. So let me get this camera down. All right, so here is the EQF2 right here. So this little button right here is the EQ button that's on or off, right? So when you see that little orange colored dot, that means that the EQ is on. I don't know how well that's going to translate in the video. Hopefully well. I mean, I can see some orange dots there. So when it's black, that means that it's off, right? And then I'm going to kick the EQ or the PMEQ down here on the ground, right? So hopefully I can do that somewhat seamlessly, but let me get the audio plugged up here, and I'm going to leave both of them off so you can hear what just the amp sounds like. So I grabbed Fleming's notes from floating around on the internet, and I found them for Lepper Messiah. So that's what I did. I dialed the amp in exactly like Lepper Messiah, other than the mids. I pulled the mids back a little bit because it sounded muddy again. And then I bumped up the, as you can see, bumped up the 120 here a little bit. And let's see, you can see I scooped out, maybe I'll put some more of the mids back in, but I scooped out the 1.2 kHz a little bit more, just because I think they did some post-processing EQ and scooped the mids a little bit more. The CX1 is in use for the gate and a little bit of compression, and I think that aids in the clarity of the notes. And then basically what I've been doing for like the past hour is just kind of going boop, 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 back and forth between the PMEQ and this, just to try to dial in the frequencies as close as possible. So without further ado, let's check it out. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. You know, even I got confused because I'm trying to kick a button on the floor, trying to push a button up here on the amp. But I mean, obviously you can hear the CX1 noise gate is freaking fantastic. Like, it blows me away. Like Carlos said, oh, that thing's really good. Understatement of the year. You know, I've got an ISP decimator, 2G string clone, and I have Boss NS2. No comparison. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about PMEQ pedal. And let me grab this thing, because I know one of the first questions a lot of people are going to ask is, what were your settings? So here's the settings. And what was really surprising to me is the high shelf over here. A lot of the times, if you get this up off the bottom, it sounds like a boost and it becomes incredibly noisy. So I just kept on dialing it down, dialing it down, dialing it down, and it wound up at almost nothing, right? And that's matching. I didn't touch the settings as far as the Rasmussen notes for the high frequencies. So this is what it took to match the high frequency of the Aphex, which was on the Fleming notes, which was, what is that? Boosted, what, probably, I don't know. It's hard to read this thing, but it's probably boosting at about 8 dB at 4,600 hertz or 46K hertz, right? And there's no shelf. They didn't use the shelf, even though this is kind of, they call it the shelf, but they don't give you any sort of reference points on here. You can see 0 reference points. That's kind of a pain in the butt. So that really made this comparison much more difficult just because of that. So I had to use my ears, and like I said, spent about an hour just back and forth, right? So you can see the low frequency settings. And this is just to match the settings for what I was doing. So your results may vary. Obviously, amps are always a little bit different, not dramatically. You can see the mids. This is to match the 1.2 kHz scoop of the EQF-2. And then the lows is to basically try to boost the 120. And you can see, you know, it's not boosted all the way, right? So, you know, at least on my pedal, I don't know how consistent these are. That's roughly about where 120 kHz is. That's roughly about the 1.2 kHz is. You know, if these sounded the same, like in the room, they sounded really similar, like very, very close. They weren't dramatically far off. And then this is where your shelf has got to be really, 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 really low, you know, because you get this shelf up high and it just, it hurts your ears. It's like taking an ice pick to your ears, and it's just like, don't do that, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this comparison. Hopefully it was enlightening. I mean, to me it was, because previously to this, this video or comparison, like, this thing is really difficult to dial in. And believe me, I watched Lamb Chopper's videos just like all you guys did too, and I tried a lot of the settings that he had, but keep in mind he was using a Mark 525, so those will be a little bit different. It's not going to be dramatically far off, but it's still different, right? I'm using my 2C Plus in plus mode. That's very similar to a red stripe or a blue stripe, you know, Mark IV, whatever. You can do the same test and get very similar results within 5-10%, right? You don't absolutely have to have a C plus or plus, you know, just like Lamb Chopper has shown you guys. You know, you can get those tones with this pedal and be in for a lot less money than myself and some of the other guys who have a lot of this crazy stuff that costs a fortune these days, right? But I like doing this. I really enjoy bringing this content to you guys. If you like my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have yourself a good one, and go out there and listen to some Metallica.